Hi, Couch Detectives. The episode you're about to hear originally aired on my reality TV podcast, Little Miss Recap. Thank you and enjoy the show. Hi, everyone. This is part 2 of our Laci Peterson documentary coverage. As with the first part, please be aware that we talk about intimate partner violence, we talk about homicide, we talk about the death of a child, infant. So if those things trigger you, please skip. Thank you and enjoy the show. Hey guys, welcome to Little Miss Recap. I am Amy Archer. I'm your host. I'm here with my co-host Shabnam, and we are back to finish our discussion of Laci Peterson, American Murder Laci Peterson, which is on Netflix 2024. This is your part 2. If you didn't listen to part 1, you're doing it wrong. Go back, listen to that, and join us. So we just got to the point where Amber Frey. I want to say Frey all the time. I had to spell it F-R-Y, so I would not do that, and I'm still doing it. So we're getting to the part now where Scott has called Amber from quote unquote Paris, which was really Laci's memorial, and things are not looking good for Scott Peterson. So we have the turn. So you were saying something about grief counseling.
Yeah. So I around the time early in her disappearance, Scott says, hold on, let me find this. Okay, so he asked police for grief counselors for the family. And they were like, they said, no, they're not getting grief counselors. They're just, looking for, it was kind of a passing comment, but it was odd to me because I'm like, why grief counselors are normally for death, right?
Yeah.
That was very odd. The another odd thing, which I read in the California Supreme Court ruling, was that he asked Brohini in the beginning of the investigation whether they would be using cadaver dogs, and Brohini told him that they would not because no one assumed Laci was dead. That was also
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I guess his sister. So it would be his half sister because it was his sister from his mother, Jackie, but different father. I guess his sister wrote a book.
Oh, interesting.
And he had stayed with her.
Oh.
Right after, while this was happening, he was crashing at her house for a couple days. I'm not really sure. And one of the things I read is that he was acting like a single man. Like he was going out, he was making up some cocktails for the babysitter, from what I understand, like real weird stuff. Not acting like a man who was completely distraught. That if nothing else, his baby's missing.
Yeah, it's just so uncaring because regardless of whether or not you want to be with that person, like he just seems so heartless in his care towards her and his own kid.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. So, Laci had been having some fainting spells and her feet had been bothering her. So they run through this, could something have happened again while she was walking the dog?
Right.
So now we come to the part where Scott's family claims that there were witnesses who saw Laci walking the dog and have never been asked by police for their statements. The police say that is not true. We interviewed every single one of these people, but we had 11,000 tips and we ran down as many as we could. And the people that we did talk to, none of them could positively, definitively say it was Laci and there was a golden retriever with her. So that's why they didn't pursue that.
Yeah.
So the suspicion around Scott is starting to grow, like I said. And Sharon says, we truly believed in his innocence. But by the end of the first week, I was having some doubts. And one night I made a list with my friend of did he or didn't he? And she said we could not overlook the fact that the did he column was so much bigger. Okay.
That's sad.
So the cops pull Scott in. They show him the pic of him and Amber from the Christmas party. And he goes, oh, that's not me.
No. He says, you don't really think that was me, right? That's what and this is, I don't know. It's like a pet peeve of mine. I feel like when people are lying and they want to try to not lie, they ask it as a question. And
I agree.
Yeah, it's just so manipulative.
I agree. And the police were smart though, because they took the picture. They had the original from Amber,
Mm-hmm.
but so they took it and they ran through a copier machine, so it looked like somebody sent it to them as a tip, because Amber's still working with them at this point.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that was smart. So a few days later, his hand is forced and he has to call Amber. And he tells her about Laci. And she says, Amber Frey is in this documentary. And it was really interesting getting to see her.
Yeah.
And she says, I was finally able to pepper him with questions and to kind of show my outrage. And, she says, everything you told me, your wife was lost on December 9th. Everything was a lie. Now, the interesting thing is he doesn't deny that. He doesn't deny that he said my wife was lost.
Yeah.
He goes, there's more than one way to lose people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's pissed. Now they start searching the bay for the body. And Scott drives out there like 5 times and just stares at the bay, which you could read that either way too.
Right.
Maybe he's hoping they find them, maybe whatever. That's not, to me, that's a nothing burger. At one point, they think they find something. And this was interesting to me for 2 reasons. So it was on the news that they thought they found something.
Yeah.
And that they were sending dive teams down and they were using sonar and they were, pulling out all the stops. Scott, so because they had Scott's phone tapped, they could hear Scott calling into his voicemail to check it. Okay.
Yeah.
He gets a voicemail from Sharon Rocha. She says, hey, Scott, it's Sharon. I just want you to know the police have called me. It's not Laci and Connor, which we knew it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I guess while we hear Scott dialing this in, Scott goes, phew.
Yeah.
At one point. Now, again, that could be, phew, thank God it wasn't them.
Yeah.
For many reasons.
Yeah.
To me, that's not damning. But I'm kind of thinking in the back of my mind, if you know that this is happening.
Yeah.
And your mother-in-law calls you, don't you answer the phone?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't you drop everything you're doing? Don't you sit there and wait by the phone to be notified if this is your wife and child?
Yeah. And I also think even his reaction, like if you are so relieved that it's not your wife who's pregnant 8 months with your kid, you would have more of a reaction than that.
Than just,
yeah.
Because it was kind of like a whistle.
Yeah. That's
like at first I thought maybe it's the dog. Like he was calling the dog. Like that's what it almost sounded like. Like,
yeah.
I can't whistle.
Yeah.
So. I've never been able to whistle. My family,
I'm not a good
makes
whistler.
fun of me. But do you know what I mean? Like, how some people go, like to call the dog?
Yeah.
I thought maybe that was it. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. It's hard to know. Yeah.
It's hard to know. So now we learn that the Inquirer gets the photos and they give the cops a few hours to prepare because they're like, we're breaking the story. And I remember growing up, that was a thing. The Inquirer had so much power.
Yeah.
They would have something. They'd be like, you got 24 hours before we fucking blow the lid off this.
Yeah.
And the police tell Sharon, and it confirmed what she had been suspecting. And Sharon said in that moment, why did he have to kill her?
Yeah.
Now we hear a call between Laci's brother, Brett, and Scott. And Brett is basically like, we saw the pictures.
Yeah.
And Scott goes, yeah, there was an encounter.
Yeah, he's trying to downplay. He's trying to say it was just like a sexual affair and not a relationship, but it doesn't seem that way from the things he. Why are you going to a Christmas party with her?
Right, and why are right there? That shows she means more to you than your wife.
Exactly,
because you're choosing that Christmas party.
Yeah.
So I just wrote, I hate Janie. Janie comes on and she goes, I mean, yeah, he was having an affair and that was disappointing. And I thought, golly gee, next time I see you, I'm going to slug you for having that affair. But, you know, I'm also going to hug you too, dude, because I love you. Stop. Just stop talking. Stop talking. Okay.
I mean, I understand. Okay, yes. Many more people have affairs than murder people. That is a fact. But this is just feels different. It also feels odd that she is so much into this and his siblings don't seem to be speaking up this way. It just makes me wonder if they're like, we're not so sold anymore or something,
His sibling literally wrote a book. Like he did it.
Okay. Well, yeah. You mentioned that. Yeah.
And Janie's just over there like getting a fucking law degree. Maybe her husband's just like, hey, whatever. You're going to get a law degree and earn some money. Fine. Go ahead, do it. I don't care if you want to waste your
Yeah.
time. A lot of people are like, is she in love with him? I don't think she's in love with him.
I
I
feel like
don't
she's like
know.
projecting something. Like she's like, well, my husband could never do this, so how could he do this, or something like that. I think it's
Something's wrong. Like
yeah,
Poodle would say, something happened on the way to heaven with that one. I don't know.
yeah,
So Susan, his sister, says, I don't even think it was an affair. Yes, it was.
yeah,
We hear the tape of him saying to Amber, I think we can take care of each other forever.
yeah,
I think we could be together. Like, he's into her.
yeah. Or at least he's pretending to be.
Yeah, good point.
So
The press are all over Amber, and she decides to hold a press conference. And we all remember that press conference. I'll
yeah,
never forget that.
yeah,
That was crazy. She's literally shaking. You could see her like.
yeah,
Laci's friends wait for her after. We didn't know this, and they thank her. And I thought that was really sweet. And they
yeah,
said, they kind of say, like, that's when we knew
yeah,
that Scott did it.
yeah,
He calls her after.
yeah.
He
Oh my
calls her
gosh.
after.
Again, this is not someone you're just sleeping with. Then
No, and he
yeah.
says, I was so proud of you. I had to pull over and throw up.
Okay, I think he needs a lot of like. I'm just like, what is going on? Like psychologically, he just seems
Like a
very
narcissist?
yeah.
Yeah.
Why did he have to throw up? It's just so odd. This is like the weirdest thing to say to someone. I was so proud of you. I had to throw up. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
She's like, this is done, dude. We're done.
Yeah.
The next day, the Roaches hold a press conference and announce, and we're done. So everybody's done with this motherfucker.
Yeah.
So Scott now does his little media tour in which he tells Diane Sawyer that he told the detectives about the affair. Now, we saw the video. He didn't.
Yeah.
Also, he says Laci knew. I don't think Laci knew.
I don't know. I mean,
And
I think
here's why I don't think she knew.
Okay.
If she's close enough to her mother to call her mother crying that he doesn't want to try to have a baby, I think she would have called her mother and said he's having an affair. She's young enough. Like when I was that age, I used to tell my mother everything.
Yeah.
I'm old enough now that if I found out Timmy was having an affair, like I might mitigate that damage.
Yeah.
So not tell my mother until like we had shit figured out. But I don't know. I just feel like Laci's not. If she didn't tell her mother, she would have told those friends.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
And she didn't tell them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Diane Sawyer's basically like, yeah, okay, buddy. Go back home. The reporters cling on to a few more things he said, but the dude is like an idiot. Like he says, oh, I can't bring myself to go into the nursery. And the cops get another warrant to search the house. He's using the nursery. Now they say as storage. I don't think he's using it as storage. But there were things just shoved in there.
Yeah, it was like, papers and files.
An office chair and like I saw.
And in the crib, there's like files and stuff like that. That was, and then, to go on TV and say that you can't go in there, you could, if he didn't say that, it would be better because I would be like, well, maybe someone's putting that stuff in there for him or whatever. But to say that and then to see how like willy-nilly he just treated the whole nursery, you feel that he's performing.
It's all performative to me.
Yeah.
Yes. So then we learn he sold her car. He's trying to sell the house. He claims, and he says on the phone to the realtor, well, I'd like to get on the market today because if she comes back, we're not staying here. Episode 3, April 14th, 2003, the bodies wash up. Yeah. And they're not in good condition.
No.
It's,
I tried to look up the photos and of course they're all blurred, but even just that you get a sense of the condition they were in. Cause at first I started thinking like, well, why is how did the baby swim out of her vagina? Like, how is the baby outside of her? And then when you get a sense of like, because she was not intact.
Right. Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
So Sharon Hagen, that woman from the crime unit, she believes that Laci was strangled. She says it's a crime with no blood. It's quiet, right? Brocchini believes he strangled her and then wrapped her in the tarp, dragged her through the house, which was mostly tile, and then put her in the bed of the truck. He thinks he left the dog on the leash on purpose. And that the dog was out in the neighborhood. One of the neighbors found the dog on the leash and put her back in the yard.
Yeah.
He drove to the warehouse, put her in the boat, took her to the bay, dumped her. He tried to make it look like a disappearance, but it just didn't. They didn't want to wait for DNA verification of the body because they were afraid he was going to run. So again, this is a situation where it's all over the news that they think they found something.
Yeah.
Right? Scott's going to go golfing.
Mm-hmm.
He knows it's
yeah.
on the news, and he's
Yeah.
going to go fucking golfing.
Yeah. In San Diego with his family.
Yeah. In San Diego with his family.
In the other documentary, the way they talked about this, they said that he, in their family, they don't address problems and talk about problems. They just, even if they're really upset with each other, they just do activities together.
They golf it out.
Yeah. And I was like,
Wow.
again, this is not boding well for the mental health of any of the people in this family.
Nope. So now we have this whole thing with, was he or was he not trying to flee? So his family's from San Diego. So I don't think him being in San Diego is a big red flag.
Yeah.
Okay. He's just there. Whatever. What they find in his car is pretty odd, though.
Yeah.
They find $15,000 in cash, 4 or 5 cell phones, knives, rope, a cooking grill, his brother's ID. And Scott has completely changed his appearance to have the hair color to resemble his brother.
Yeah.
His family's credit cards. And are you ready for this? Viagra. And, Janie's like, oh, that means nothing. He's just driving around that stuff in his car.
Well, so in the other documentary, they explain.
Let's hear this. Go ahead.
They explain just a couple of those things. They say that the place they were going golfing, if you weren't like a resident of the county, you had to pay much more. And
right. So he was going to use his brother's ID to get in there.
Yeah, he was trying to get a discount at the golfing place. And then they say that the $15,000 was because his brother was buying a car from him. But then
I read that the $15,000 was a loan from his mother because she was afraid they were going to freeze his assets.
Ah, okay.
So either way, they've explained that away. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what about the Viagra?
And the knives, the cell phones. It's odd. Yeah.
4 cell phones. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very odd.
So they drive him the 5 to 6 hours to Modesto. And while this happens, they get a call that the bodies that have washed up are Connor, again, child, and Laci. Scott does cry a tear. Yeah. Unlike Robin Brown, it is claimed that he has actually produced a tear. Then he wants a In-N-Out burger. Okay, well, who amongst us?
Yeah,
even in my darkest time, Shabnam, you could lure me away with the pizza.
I don't know. Like I thought about this. I was like, really, the vanilla shake? I was like, the burger and the fries, I could be like, fine, but the vanilla, you're gonna have dessert at a time like this.
You're guilty just based on the fact that you got a vanilla shake.
Yeah,
was exactly. That. So they get to the police department. There are tons of people holding signs. And this is when they realized, like, oh, this isn't good.
Yeah.
It's not going to be good. They hire Mark Garagos because he's been, doing his men's rights stuff on CNN every night, trying to figure that stuff out.
Yeah.
We meet the defense team, Mark, Nareg Gorigan, and Pat Harris. Mm-hmm. Mark Garagos gives a press conference and he's like, this is a witch hunt.
Yeah.
This affluent white boy is being wrongfully accused. Okay.
Yeah.
So Amber Frey lawyers up with Gloria Allred. Good move. Good move on her part.
Yes.
The defense is trying hard to undermine Amber's credibility. This is their angle that they're taking with this. And Gloria was all over this.
Yeah.
They moved the trial to, is it San Mateo County?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. That's Redwood City up there?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
That's by the bay. Yeah.
One of the things, too, that I've never seen before is this interview with these 2 jurors, Greg and Mike, who came into this, like, one of them, I think it was Greg, is like, I have a son this kid's age.
Yeah.
You'd have to work hard to prove that he did. They both came in believing he did not do it.
They were good jurors for the defense, I think.
Yes. Yeah. I agree. They said there's no way this guy did it. Yeah, he had an affair, but that's not relative. And a year after his arrest, he goes to court and the trial starts. Sharon says she went every day. Scott's sister, Susan, and of course, Janie, the president of the Scott Peterson fan club, went every day.
Yeah.
Scott's lawyers say and this is still true to this day, that the police have zero proof of where, when, and how this murder occurred.
Yeah, that's
That's interesting.
yeah. It's true,
It's
but
true.
yeah.
But do you know who Kelly Siegler is? She hosts a show on Oxygen called Cold Justice, and she's like a famous prosecutor.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if she's been problematic. I don't think I've seen anything about her, but maybe, who knows.
Mhm.
She always uses this analogy where she's like, if you have a pencil, you can break it easily.
Yeah.
And that's a piece of circumstantial evidence. But if you have 10 pencils together,
Yeah.
you can't break that easily. Like if you have all these strands of circumstantial evidence that add
Yeah.
up to something strong, it is
Yeah.
unbreakable.
Yeah.
And I think of that when I think of this case.
Yeah. I agree. I could see that. I like that analogy.
Yeah. That's a good show, Cold
Mhm.
Justice. Because
I
she
got to check
doesn't
it out.
she goes into like smaller cities who can't really, small towns who can't
Oh,
really
that's
afford
nice.
to have all the DNA testing done and all that. And she tries to
Yeah.
solve cold cases. It's interesting.
That's cool.
It's on Oxygen. So the trial was not televised. So the journalists were responsible for really shaping the narrative. Ted Rowland says these Stanislaus County prosecutors, did I get that right?
Stanislaus County. Yeah.
Yeah, were really outmatched. Like you
Yeah.
had Mark Garrigo. Murder She Watched will continue after these messages. So we go through the whole Martha Stewart meringue situation. That's batted away, right?
Yeah,
We go
that's just sloppy. I don't know. I mean, you could get like a first year lawyer to, or a paralegal or anybody to just look that up. I don't understand
So
why that
I
happened.
want to say when I read again, I will find the link and put it in the show notes. That thing where they bat away all the evidence of the
Mhm.
defense.
Mhm.
I want to say that there were actually meringue was mentioned on both days.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, and one of the episodes the day before was real focused on meringue. So they think that that was the one he saw and was referencing, and just kind of got lucky that they talked about it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, do
But
some
also
research into that, guys, before you believe what I say.
it's like, what does that prove? That he's kind of a liar? Well, we have so many, like, so much evidence of him being a liar, so I
Well,
don't
I
know
think
why.
what happened is the state was trying to prove that he had killed her the night before, the night of the
Oh.
23rd.
Oh, okay.
But like he could have put on Martha Stewart and watched the meringue segment.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean Laci pushed the button to turn it on.
Yeah. It's just odd that that was such a focus.
Yeah, I agree. So we see that there's a line missing from one of Brocchini's reports, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's a gotcha." And he says, "I removed that line because mine was hearsay, and the other detective had it directly from the source in their report."
Yeah.
So there's that going on.
Yeah. That
She
that was
Go ahead.
some nice questioning from like some good lawyering from Garagos, the way that he handled Brocchini on the stand.
Yeah,
He, was, I mean, again, I don't think Scott's innocent, but that was like interesting as a lawyer to watch how he like really just manhandled him in the witness
yeah,
stand. So yeah.
yeah. I mean, Garagos is as good as you're gonna get.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So Sharon didn't go for 2 days. She went every day except for two. One, she was sick, and the other time when they were talking about the conditions of the body, she didn't go that
Mm-hmm.
day. We talk about, was Connor born alive? The coroner
Yeah.
says they put Connor's time of death between 33 and 36 weeks, which means that the death would have occurred later than December 24th. Again, because this happened in the water, it's really hard to tell. That's not
Yeah.
exactly an exact science either.
Yeah, and I feel like I've been around a couple pregnant women that where they sometimes are not really, they'll be like, "Oh, you're 31 weeks, but your baby's measuring at 31 at week and 6 days or
Yep,
whatever." And
100%.
that's even under normal circumstances, and now you're, this is a very abnormal circumstance of being in the water in a decomposed body. So I think there's a margin of error there. I don't put that much weight on that.
I agree. Like if my life is on the line, I'm not going to put a lot
Yeah.
of weight on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the defense is also like, "Oh, somebody could have kidnapped her for the baby." There's
Mhm.
people kidnapping pregnant women around there. And I guess there was like a case of a missing pregnant woman from that area. But then
Yeah.
they did some diving into it, and it turned out like they think it was somebody in her family. Like it wasn't a good
You're
family
right.
situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the case is going in the defense's way, and everything looks great. And then in comes again Amber Frey.
Yeah.
Amber remembers that day, and as she's talking about, she starts to cry. She says she was sitting there for Laci and for her unborn child. And I wrote, "You're a fucking hero, lady."
Yeah.
She really is. Gloria Allred says Amber held her head high and won the respect of the jury. And the one thing that Amber wanted to clarify is she was not a mistress.
Yeah.
Because a mistress, Amber says, if you look it up, the definition is a mistress knows the guy's married or the woman's married, whatever.
Yeah.
She had no idea.
Yeah.
We play the tapes. And Gloria Allred says, like, he fucked up. This was his own voice.
Yeah.
He took the fifth and didn't want to take the stand, but his voice was heard in that courtroom.
Yeah.
The jurors say, the two jurors that we met earlier, say the affair itself wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
It is what he said and what he did that we had a problem with.
Yeah. So the criminal profiler says at one point, Scott's style of lying was very short-sighted. He was so detached and unemotional and seemed to believe people would forget about Laci's disappearance and that he could just move on with his life. And she's saying like that shows that he planned like premeditation.
Yeah.
And just shows that he's just a liar, you know.
Yeah, and the reason he thought everybody would forget about Laci is because that's his modus operandi, right? Like that's how he thinks about things.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't get emotionally attached. He can move on.
Right.
And I think he thinks the world thinks like that.
Yeah.
And they don't, dude.
No.
He's scary.
Yeah,
he is scary.
Yeah.
So jurors say there's no aha moment here. In this case, it's just everything adds up when you put it together, like the pencils.
Yeah.
The verdict is read. I felt horrible for Jackie, Scott's mother. She was on oxygen, if you remember, and she was like they walked them down that corridor in front of all the reporters, and the reporters are screaming at them like, "Oh, are you fucking proud of your son now?"
Yeah.
Murder. They didn't deserve that.
No,
I mean, they're
no.
as much his victims as anybody else.
Right. Yeah, that was sad to see.
It was terrible. Sharon takes the stand to testify at the sentencing phase, and she talks directly to Scott, and it's real bad. She's like talking in baby Connor's voice, and
yeah.
He gets the death penalty, and the jurors say, "Somebody congratulate me on the death penalty," and it really upset me. He's like, "This was one of the hardest things I ever had to do. Like, it's not easy."
Yeah.
Al Burkini says he stayed close to the Rochas for a while, but he knows he's a bad reminder for them.
Yeah.
He's a bad penny, you know?
Yeah.
And Janie says they didn't get to grieve Laci because, you know, we had to go right into fighting for Scott's life, and I have not stopped for 20 years because I'm madly in love with him. I don't know what Janie's saying. Allegedly.
Yeah. I don't get her.
Okay, now we're ending.
Okay.
Ted Rollins has the line of the entire series, in my opinion. He says, at the end of the day, the Rochas know that he killed her, and they live with that pain every day.
Yeah.
And the Petersons know that he didn't kill her, and they live with that pain every day. And I just thought, that is this case right there.
Yeah.
Sharon says she can't believe it was 20 years ago. She'll never get over it. She says her life is different. There's a dividing line, the before, the after. I get that. The friends say this brought them closer. It doesn't matter who knows what. We just make sure all of us know everything.
Yeah.
When you're questioned about your best friend and you realize what you didn't know, you realize how important it is to stay together.
Right.
Sharon Hagan says Laci was a low-risk woman, and often that is when intimate partners murder. Murder is the number one cause of death of pregnant women in this country.
That's so scary.
Sharon says Laci is gone. This is when I was sobbing. I'm going to try to get through today without crying.
Yeah.
Sharon says Laci is gone almost as long as she was here, and she really wants her to be remembered for who she was and not just a victim. I'm trying. I'm okay. Her legacy is that she was a loving person whose only crime was loving her husband, and he betrayed her and everyone else. And Sharon says she's received so many letters from people who were betrayed by their husbands, and because of my daughter, they left in time. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I know. I was sobbing too at this point. Yeah.
Okay. Because of my daughter, they left in time and they are still alive because of Laci. Janie Peterson. There, I could go back into rage. Janie
Yeah.
Peterson. Janie Peterson obtained a law degree to fight for Scott.
Yeah.
Scott is no longer on death row. His sentence was commuted. What's that word?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
That's tough. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the end of the documentary. Let's
Yeah.
talk a little bit about what's in Scott Speaks. You told us quite a bit of it.
Yeah.
But, what was that definitely Scott focused? Do you think his family put that one up?
Like they were definitely more a part of it, and Laci's family was not. But
Mhm.
it wasn't like, oh, Scott's innocent. There were things in there that, like for example, the grief counseling piece and things like
Mhm.
that, because
Mhm.
Brochini and Bueller were in that one as well, and so
Okay.
was Ted Rowland. So it had a lot of the same players, although not, more of Scott's family and less of Laci's family.
So when we heard, I have to watch it. I didn't watch it yet, but when you
Mhm.
heard Scott speak,
Mhm.
did a reporter interview him? Like who interviewed him? The
Yes.
directors?
No, a reporter interviewed him. Yeah.
And what is he like? Like, is he still kind of like a bro? Do you feel like he's
He's
weighing the gravity of this?
no. So
No.
yeah, he's 51 now, and he's like so much skinnier. So he doesn't look like that broy kind of young guy,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But you also just feel like he doesn't seem to have grasped, like he doesn't seem like really emotional. He doesn't seem very emotional, and he always tries to explain that away by saying that, you know you can't really, it's not like you can cry in prison, and he hasn't been in these situations that really allow it, which I sort of understand, but his actions, even before all that, also seemed
Yeah.
unemotional. So
Yeah.
it's it's unfortunate. But the interesting part of the documentary is that the Northern California, the LA Innocence Project took on his case. And the way they took it on is because Janie and the lawyer applied applied to them because they received a big grant for DNA testing, so they applied to be part of that.
Mhm.
And so they had a hearing on May 29th of this year where they asked for the DNA testing of 6 items associated with the van that they found, because they actually found that van. It was burnt, and it was like a orangey brown color, and
Mhm.
it had been burnt 1 or 2 days after. So they
Mhm.
found that van, and even although it was burnt, there was one spot of the mattress where a metal can was on, and that part seemed to have what could be blood, and so they wanted a DNA test that. And then there was 6 items associated with the van, as well as 11 items that were recovered with the bodies, including duct tape. The court ruled that they would only be able to the state would only be testing the duct tape. And so
Why?
I don't know, and that I find odd.
So I
So
will say that Jody Weber did a episode on this. I want to say
okay.
it's Jody Weber, where she said, judges are just really hesitant to open up the door of let's just start testing everything.
Okay.
And so they have to be very intentional on what they're going to let you test in a situation like this. And because they have no evidence that that van was in any way tied to this crime,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like if there
Yeah.
had been something, I think, with the burglars that said, okay, this was connected, but like
Yeah.
there's not. Whereas the duct tape was actually found on the bodies.
Yeah, that does make sense. That does track. There's also other legal stuff they're working on, because they don't believe they know that the prosecution and law enforcement didn't share all the discovery with them. But again,
Yeah.
the government's position is that those things were not relevant. But that's something that I think seems a little ugly to me. You should allow the defense to decide what is relevant
I
to their
agree.
case.
I agree
So
with that.
yeah, so that's that. His sentence did get commuted down to life instead of
I forget why that got commuted down.
um the court said that
They didn't pull the jury
they did it
properly for their
incorrectly.
opinions on the death penalty.
Yeah. So it's,
Yeah.
while a court may dismiss a prospective juror as unqualified to sit on a capital case if the juror's views on capital punishment would substantially impair um, his or her ability to follow the law, a juror may not be dismissed merely because he or she has expressed opposition to the death penalty as a general matter. So and here the court didn't like dismiss jurors because of a written questionnaire expressing their opposition to the death penalty, even though they said that wouldn't really interfere with their ability to follow the law. And so it was more of like
it was more a procedural thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not a proponent of the death penalty, and this is why I'm glad that, in a way, that that did get commuted, because let's exhaust it. Let's exhaust the DNA testing. Fine. I believe it's going to come back a nothing. Like, I believe that Scott Peterson did this, and no matter what testing you do, that's going to be your result at the end of the day. But that who am I?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just host a podcast.
It just made me think, like, didn't is it Mike? Is it Angela from 90 Day Fiance? Michael. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He had a GoFundMe for his immigration issues.
Yes,
like, I think people would fund the testing of DNA in this case, but
I do too. This is just something. Oh man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Scott, if he is guilty, this may be his worst crime. Letting this family suffer for this long, letting his own family suffer for this long.
Yeah.
I mean, one could argue that killing Laci maybe was a crime of passion. Maybe it was an accident. Who knows?
Yeah.
But he has been for 20 years torturing two families if he is guilty and knows it.
And I feel very strongly that even if the crime went a little different than the prosecution says, he's hiding things and he's lying. Yeah. And so it's like, if he would just not do that, you could have a little more understanding of the situation and him, but it's just, he feels terrible.
He's an asshole.
Yeah.
Let's end it there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Shabnam, thank you so much for doing this with me. I know we went long, and I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day. You're much more important than I am, and thank you for giving your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Again, tell everybody about your podcast and where they can find it.
Yeah, so it's called Chai After Dark. It's CHAI After Dark. You can find us on all social medias at Chai After Dark, and wherever you listen to podcasts, we're talking about South Asian centered stories in TV and media.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. All right, guys. So go ahead and listen to Chai After Dark, and keep listening to Little Miss Recap. We got you covered with everything you need here. If you want bonus content, we have a $5 Murder Club tier on our Patreon where we talk about true crime. We have an $8 tier where we talk about sister wives and stuff like that. New season starting. Very excited.
I know. So excited. The trailer looks amazing.
Cannot wait.
Yeah.
And then we have a $12 tier where you get all of that plus some Gen X stuff. So support the show that way if you can. If not, just share the show and leave a 5-star review. That does a lot too. All right, Shabnam, thank you so much. And thank you, everybody else. We'll see you soon.